Let's can purple hull peas. The first thing I'm going to do after I've shelled the peas is to wash them really well and remove any debris. I'm going to raw pack these peas today. That is the easiest way to can vegetables. The jars are heating up in the canner and I have a pot of water that's been brought to a boil. I hear a lot of people talk about cold packing, where you take cold food and you put it in a cold jar and then you put it in a cold canner and then heat it up. And according to the National Center of Home Food Preservation, that is not an approved method for canning food. You can either hot pack, where you take hot food, you put it in hot jars and put that in a hot canner, or you can raw pack, which is what we're doing today, where you take cold food and you put it in warm jars and put it in a warm canner. And I'm adding a teaspoon of salt to each one of these quart-sized jars. Salt is optional when you're canning, and a lot of times I will leave it out, but I usually do add it to peas. I fill the jars with peas to a 1-inch headspace, and now I'm going to pour my water over the peas and keep that same headspace. And then I will debubble the jars, and as air is released and the water level goes down, I will put more water as needed in the jars to maintain the 1-inch headspace. And then I'm going to wipe the rims of the jar using a damp cloth. Then I'll put the lids on and screw my bands on fingertip tight. These jars are ready to go into the canner, and then once I get my lid on tight, I allow the canner to come up to pressure and begin venting a steady stream of steam. I'll set my timer for 10 minutes and then add my weight. For my elevation, I use 10 pounds of weight. Once the weight begins to jiggle, I will set my timer for 40 minutes for quart-sized jars of peas. For my canner, the ideal heat is whatever causes my weight to jiggle 2 to 3 times a minute. After 40 minutes, I just turn the heat off and allow my canner to completely come down to 0 pressure on its own. Then I remove the weight and I wait another 2 minutes before I remove the lid. I've been canning peas for the last 4 years, and I have never not had some siphoning. Some people prefer to freeze their peas. I prefer to can them, even though the peas will continue to absorb water and everything above the water line in the jar will discolor, but that doesn't affect the taste of the peas. And then when I get ready to cook them, all I have to do is take them out of the jar and heat them up. And that's it. Raw packed purple hull peas ready for the pantry.